Everyone wants to leave a legacy of positivity in the world around them. Whether you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a nonprofit executive director, or even a soon-to-be entrepreneur, one fact is always true. The easiest and most effective way to catalyze change in the world around you is through commerce and through business. But how do you do it? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Changemakers Collective, a place where people can come and get educated and encouraged and empowered to be the impact agent in the world around them. Brought to you by Silverback Ventures, Steff Thomas and Scott Woods have over 50 years combined experience helping companies and owners amplify the voice and multiply the impact of purpose-driven businesses. Join us each week as we discuss what it means to live a life of purpose on purpose.
Hey, this is Silverback Ventures having some girl time with
Producer Kristen.
at,
Podcast producer Kristen at Novice Studios.
yes, there you go. I know who she was. I just wanted her to introduce herself because she never does when I'm like. So anyway, girl time. And we are really just talking about women entrepreneurs and just some of the things that happen with women entrepreneurs. So just a little thing about Novice Studios. First of all, they are fantastic, but Kristen is a woman of color that wants to make sure that women feel empowered, are empowered, and can be empowered. So, Kristen, as we were like kind of talking about, hey, what do you want to talk about? You were spitballing some things, and you were like, hey, what about women that own their own businesses that make more money than their husbands? And we were all like, I think that's a fantastic topic, and I think that Kristen and I are both married, not to each other, but we are married, and we have family and children and the whole 9 yards. And man, that's a real thing that as a woman, I may talk to you about, but I probably at some point in my life would not have had that conversation with my husband because I didn't want him to feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
I've been married 25 years. You have been married.
Going on 7 years.
And I think you have a very cool goal for your household. So let's talk about your goal for a second.
Yes. So my goal for my household is to make my husband work optional. Some people call it retiring your husband. I would love for him to have some downtime in his career to work on fun projects or really take some time to figure out what he wants to do next in his career. And so that requires me to make at least what he's making, if not more, which is much more than I'm currently paying myself from my business.
Okay, so in your household, is that like oh man, if I make more money than him, is he gonna be weird? Or is that hey babe, this is the goal and I am at some point gonna make more money than you? Like, what's that look like at your house?
Yeah, it's definitely the latter. I would say that there are definitely, and I talked about this in the episode that I did with Scott and Steff about how there's ebbs and flows mentally of like, can I do this? Can I not do this? And times when you believe in yourself more than others. And my husband is like, I support you having this business. I support you doing what you're passionate about as long as it doesn't require you to work nights and weekends forever and ever because it's not sustainable. It's not great for our family. I can see it stresses you out a lot. And so that is really the only like caveat. He's like, I'm fine. Sometimes we'll pass by like a house that's very clearly multi-million dollars, like a huge mansion. He'll be like, one day you'll buy us that house from Novice Studios. Like, yes,
One day I'm going to.
Thank you. Yes, I love that energy. Let's keep putting that out there. So he's very supportive of it. I think that once we get there, like maybe it'll be different in terms of just the financial security because it's different earning a paycheck from a company than it is to have revenue coming in the door that you're paying yourself from. Because that can vary, it can fluctuate. And so I think that whenever that day comes that he's like, all right, I'm not going to work anymore and I'm the one paying the bills for our family, that I'm sure he'll have this moment of like, not insecurity for being like the man of the house or whatever, but more from just like, you know, what if I have to take on a job because, you know, the economy crashes and she loses clients or something like that. maybe there will be, some things along those lines, but I think for the most part, he's supportive of the possibility of not having to work and having me be the breadwinner.
I think that just coming from same generation, but we are just years apart in the length of time we've been married, and there's a slight age difference. I would say that for my husband, in the beginning part of our marriage, we were in the man makes all the money, and I have had some very successful career treks where I did make more money. I know that my husband at one point, because I was successful, and am successful, but he was able to take I don't want to do this job anymore.
Yeah.
And we can pay our bills and live our lifestyle on your salary. So he had an opportunity to step back and say, okay, I think I want to do this. And whether it was I think I want to do this or not, it was good to be able to offer back and forth, because he definitely supported me when I was like, I don't want to be a district manager of retail stores anymore. I think I want to. And he was like, okay. So it's cool to switch that around a little bit.
Do you feel like it changed like the dynamics in your marriage at all?
It didn't. However, when he did decide what he wanted to do when he grows up, I mean, that's kind of a joke or not, there was a balance shift of just who's doing what in the household now, right? Who's taking the kid? Who's responsible for this? And I think that created a challenge, but strong communication fixed that immediately.
Yeah, good.
However, I have to say that, and again, as we were kind of, hey, what are we going to talk about? You were talking about glass ceilings. And I think that prior to us having that conversation, I maybe, and again, in that time frame, 20 years ago, my mindset was, I'm going to make him feel less of. So I created a glass ceiling that was a me mindset, not a him mindset.
Gotcha.
Now he's like, okay, what you doing now?
Yeah.
What clients you got?
That's fun. That's awesome.
So talk about that in your house. What would that look like if you were to say to someone else that's struggling, because you also brought up, whether people agree with it or not agree with it, because society has thoughts around that. What would you tell other women?
I mean, I think you said it perfectly when you said just communication solved that problem. There's a book called Fair Play by her. I know her first name is Eve, but I can't remember her last name. I'll put the link to her book in the show notes, where she talks about the division of labor in most households and how it tends to fall on the mom or the woman in the relationship, and the dads, if you all kind of get off easy and don't have to think about, okay, tomorrow's picture day, so he needs to be wearing these clothes to school and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I've been very fortunate that my husband takes on a good amount of that. He does all of the cooking for our house, but not only that, and this is where that mental load, that emotional labor comes into play, where like, who's going to plan what we're eating? Who's going to go grocery shopping? Who's going to make sure that we've got enough snacks? Who's going to make sure blah, blah, blah. He takes care of all that stuff from start to finish. He just asks us like, what are you in the mood to eat this week? And so that is tremendous. And so then I take care of the cleaning for the house. And then we also this year kind of splurged. It was like our big splurge of the year was to hire a cleaning service to come in every 2
when you
weeks.
did that.
Oh my gosh. This has been like a game changer for us, just to keep a really good baseline. We have a tornado toddler and 2 giant hairy dogs. And so there's so much stuff everywhere all the time. And so that has taken a big load off of both of us and allowed us to spend more time with our son, or more time like doing the more deep cleaning things that you don't get to when you're having to clean everything to baseline first and then do deep cleaning. So that has been a big game changer for us. But whenever we feel like, one person is maybe carrying a heavier load than the other, again, it's just a conversation. But it's interesting because, my dad has always been a huge supporter of me going to college. I got my master's degree. He was super supportive of that and was like, go start a business, like do it. You'll be the first entrepreneur in the family and all this stuff. And so one day I told him Matt was cooking. He was like, you make your husband cook for you? And I was like, oh, what do you mean by that?
Some of that are like just cultural behaviors, right?
Exactly. It's so cultural. And I was like, I don't make him clean
Do
or
anything,
cook for me. I don't make
right.
him do anything. My husband loves to cook. It's like a therapeutic thing for him. And he likes to experiment, and he doesn't like eating the same thing multiple times. So we get to do different things. And it's been great for our kid because he's grown up since he was very, very little eating all different foods. So he's not a picky eater. I thought he was picky, and then I heard about other kids and I was like, oh, our kid's not picky at all. He just will sometimes prefer a Paw Patrol yogurt over like dinner, but that's fine. And so there is that cultural expectation still of like, as a woman at home, even if you are running a business and you are working nights and weekends, you still need to find time to like be doing all of the household things. And so that was like kind of a realization for me, but it didn't change any dynamics in our house because I feel like we had it down.
You were really talking about this, and I think this is important. Mm-hmm. Sometimes as women, especially women-owned businesses, mm-hmm. we think that we have to not only run the business, mm-hmm. but also do the cultural things, the cooking, the making sure that all the kids have the right clothes on for picture day, and that's just not fair for us mm-hmm. as women. Mm-hmm. I think having some of the conversations about, here is how you get the best out of me. Mm-hmm. If I like to cook, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes my husband's like, well, just order something because you've been at work all day long. You've been mm-hmm. with different clients. And I'm like, but wait, I like mm-hmm. to cook. Yes. That's my thing, mm-hmm. right? But I may not want to get the kids' clothes out. Right. So let's just have a conversation around this is what I can do and what you can't do. But I also have to take time to re-energize, mm-hmm. right? So if I'm doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the kids' stuff, all the running, yes. plus I am trying to retire my husband, if that is mm-hmm. my goal, whatever that looks like when do I have me time?
Yeah.
How important is me time to you?
Extremely, extremely important, which is why, the working nights and weekends, that was my me time. My husband and I have a very strict standing biweekly date night. Tuesday nights, Saturday nights are like just for us. We play a game together. We'll watch a show together. Like that's our time to just connect and not be, doing our own things or worrying about the toddler or whatever. And so those are nights that I do protect. So I will work early if I have to. Like those are the days that I work really hard not to have to work on those nights. I really protect that time. But then I will let the work bleed into my me time. And that can be very, very draining and then create resentment because I'm like, well, the nights that I do have free are the ones that I have to spend with my husband. And I don't want to look at date nights that way.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so hard. And so he'll say, okay, it's, we've got nap time on the weekends on a Saturday, date nights tonight. You take this time to like do something fun. Like we could clean out the garage, but instead you just do something fun for yourself. And so I feel like he's really good at noticing my signs of burnout before I can and kind of holding that space for me. And so that's been really nice. And I think we're getting better at saying, hey, I need a minute. As much as I love playing with trains and playing Spider-Man and blah, 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 I just need a minute to like go pretend I'm a grown up again. And I think we've gotten better at asking each other for that time. And we're at this really great place in toddlerhood where Jack can play pretty independently. Like we've started sending him upstairs if he doesn't want to eat dinner, and he'll go upstairs and play by himself. And then we get to have dinner by ourselves, and we're like, oh my God.
Word.
Oh my God.
Now that's when you start saying, we could do this. We could have another one.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So it's like, yeah. I don't know if we're going to give up that piece, but it's nice. We're enjoying it while we have it. We're enjoying that piece while we have it.
And again, I think just communicating, mm-hmm. I think we are women. That doesn't mean that we're superheroes, even mm-hmm. if we want to be superheroes.
Yeah.
And I think having other strong women in your corner, mm-hmm. not women that are like, you don't need that. But women like, okay, I understand what it looks like to own a business and to have a husband and to run a household is uber important.
Yes.
Now, I like to tell you on a regular basis, dude, unplug for a minute.
Yeah. I know the work will still be there when we get back. And Matt is really good at work-life balance. He's really good at it. And so I think he understands that it's just a different circumstance, but he'll be like, it's still going to be there an hour from now. It's still going to be there in a few hours. So like, is it really going to make a big difference if you do it? I always like Friday nights are kind of like my ultimate me nights, because I know I can like have a glass of wine, I don't have to be anywhere the next morning, I can watch whatever I want, I can watch a rom-com from the 90s, I can read my rom-com books, I could do a coloring book. Like those are really my like wind down nights. But there are some Fridays that I end up working because I'm like, I have to get this done before the end of the week, and that's hard for me.
As a woman, I would say that having a supportive husband, right? So if I were to tell my husband, hey, okay, I can't do date night, or I really can't cook tonight, or he would totally understand that.
Yeah.
But as a woman of 25 years in a fabulous marriage, I love my husband. I know that those things that he is supportive of would absolutely cause a division if I didn't protect those things. So I give him permission to not let me off the hook sometimes of doing the things that I love, right? Because I will place work in front of the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So even though he says, okay, you don't need to do that in an hour, I know you, and I know that you're like, okay, everybody went to bed, I'm just going to do this anyway. Or I know I'm just going to get up early because Tuesday we're doing this and Matt's going to want me to be finished. So how do you protect that and get some rest?
It is hard. I think I always go by deadline. So if I know something has to be submitted, like let's say Monday morning and it's Friday night, I will know, okay, I'm too burnt out. Like the work that I do tonight's not going to be good. Let me get a good night's sleep, and then I'll do it during nap time tomorrow. And then my husband will talk me through it sometimes of, are you doing work that has to be done, or are you doing work right now that will make next week easier? Because if it's, you're doing, I think either way is fine, but there's a stress and an urgency to the stuff that has to get done. But there's something very, it's still not rest, but it's relaxing to get something done on the weekend that's going to make the following week much easier. And so then he's very like, okay. He's like, I'm proud of you for doing something that's going to make next week easier. And, make sure you get some rest time, or I can take Jack in the afternoon so you can go for a walk or read outside or whatever you want to do. And so I really appreciate that. Good. I mean, having a good partner in life is like such a game changer. It's a life hack. It really is. It's really a life hack.
It really, really is. What's your favorite thing about being a woman-owned business?
I think there's a little bit more, and this could be, I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but I feel like I have a little bit more permission to be like feminine and silly in like my branding. I could be really fun in the way I word things. And this came up in our Prepping for Everest session. You were like, I don't know if you could say this. Oh, it was one of the values, because I said, even if you're somebody who has like resting bitch face, which we have clients who like self-proclaim that they have resting bitch face. And I know that they're lovely, bubbly people, but they just don't always smile. And so what I was trying to communicate is that I'm not going to train you out of that. I'm just going to talk you through so that if you are saying something where you want to be perceived in that bubbly, happily way that I know that you are, I make sure you say it that way. But for the rest of the things, like, you just be you. And so I feel like
you need to clean that up a little bit.
I was like, I feel like I have some like kind of leeway to be a little bit more fun and playful in that way. And I feel like there's a lot of really great collaboration among other women entrepreneurs. And I mean, you can be technically competition, but I think that they're way more likely to have conversations with you and work together with you. And so that's been really fun. I get referrals from other female podcast producers. So that's always cool when they can say, hey, I can see that this client needs this thing that you're really good at. I'm sending them your way. And I definitely don't take that for granted. I really appreciate that.
See, that goes back to the beginning when I said, man, you really have a heart for women. And it is so cool to watch. I I think when I first met you, you were serious, but not overtly serious. You're very approachable. But the more I work with you, the more I'm like, oh yeah, you're silly. Like you are a girl of my own heart. I love it.
Yes. And
We could do a cartwheel down the hall. That's cool.
It's fun to have clients that get that too. And I feel that way with all of our clients, that I'm allowed to be, or I'm able to be silly around them. They appreciate it. It helps them relax and feel more comfortable in front of the camera. And I can definitely tell the difference between like those clients and then clients who are maybe a lot more buttoned up. I joked, there was one guest that one of our clients had on their show who was very no nonsense, and like you could tell. And I was like, she is very no nonsense. And they were like, yeah, she is no nonsense. And I was like, I like a little nonsense. And I'm going to
put a little nonsense in there.
I do like a little nonsense. There's nothing that we do that's going to, like, we're not saving lives.
Yeah.
With our podcast.
We're just having fun.
We're impacting lives. We're hopefully changing lives, but nobody's going to, be seriously hurt if an episode is a little bit sillier, or if we change the format up, or we change the color of the lights. Like, those are things that we get to have fun and experiment with podcasting. We're not, glued to algorithms like you are on social media, and you don't have to play by the books. And, if you put a link here, we're going to totally dock the rest of your content. Like, podcasting doesn't have rules like that, which I love. It gives us way more fun to be creative and play.
You were talking about the lighting. If I want to change the light. So for those that are listening to us, my business partner, Scott, is in the building. And she was like, hey, it's just us girls. We're going to make it pink. And I'm like, let's make it pink. And he was just like, okay. But you really do take the liberty of, we're just going to change this up a little. And your whole studio is just fun. I mean, it's just fun. So I appreciate that you did some Wind Down Wednesday. Is that what we're going to call this today?
Yeah, totally.
That means we can only watch this on Wednesdays. Just kidding. You can watch it every day. But I love just having fun with you, and sometimes just having some of the hard conversations that as women, it's a little scary to talk about sometimes, because culturally, it's a little frowned upon. Yeah. And nobody knows why.
Yeah. It's that darn patriarchy. We talked about it in our Preparing for Everest session, but that's something that I'm raising a young man, and I want him to see that, like, femininity is awesome and cool, and boys can do stuff that is considered feminine and it's still cool. He loves Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, and it's because she has a pet tiger. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
Her tiger is cool.
Her tiger is pretty cool. It'd be awesome to have a pet tiger. And so I think that, with raising this next generation of kids, kind of showing them how to be good partners, how to be good to themselves, how to be kind and compassionate to themselves, and to just like what they like unapologetically. As long as you're not hurting anybody, like, I don't see a problem. Have a pet tiger. Just kidding. Don't have a pet tiger. That's illegal. Don't do that.
I have a friend that has it. No. Well, it is illegal, but she helps with the zoo people. Oh. So when they're like itty bitty bitty babies and like they're being rescued and stuff, she gets to like adopt them for a small period of time. Gosh. So it's illegal to own them, but you can adopt them. If you're certified.
Conservation.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Next subject.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. And if you guys like this as a series, let us know, because we'll do more episodes. And I think if we do, our next topic should be leadership lessons learned from fantasy books. Because
I love that.
I'm reading the Mistborn series right now, and oh my gosh, I'm like, did Scott and Steff write this? Because this feels like leadership 101.
We read it
like
first.
Finding yourself.
No, just kidding.
So yeah, I think that could be a fun topic. You guys tell us if you want it.
Silverback Ventures and Novice Studios, we appreciate your time, and make sure to go to Silverback Ventures and click and like, and we will see you the next time. Thank you for listening to the Changemakers Collective. If you've enjoyed this episode, please help us grow our community by leaving us a review on Apple Podcast or rating us on Spotify.
You can also find our podcast on YouTube, so you can come and leave us a comment over there as well. If you want support growing your business and scaling your vision, visit us at silverbackventures.org or connect with us on LinkedIn.
Thanks again, and we'll see you on our next episode.